Although I'm disappointed that the resolution process could not move forward, I do believe it is time for the next steps. I have outlined the reasons that this complaint be referred to the Police Review Board in response to your letter date December 21st, 2021. I also have significant evidence to accompany this letter. So we had a resolution meeting that was set up with Chief McNeil and my family, and they had so many days to acknowledge, to agree to the meeting, and they didn't get back to the police complaint commissioner. So we're in phase 3 of the police complaint commissioner. So this is what we have to present that I've already presented. So this is a pretty big update on everything and what was done wrong and etc. Dylan was reported missing on May 6th at 1:24 p.m. Police arrived within 5 minutes of the 911 call, but failed to notify EMO for 2 hours and 45 minutes. The Emergency Management Office was not contacted by the Truro Police until 4:13 p.m. Then 19 minutes later, at 4:32 p.m., a non-intrusive emergency alert was sent out. Police Canine was not on scene until 2:04 p.m., 40 minutes after the 911 call. Though we believe this to be incorrect because I arrived on the scene around 2:45 and the Truro Canine was just arriving. True. And an item with Dylan's scent for the search dog was refused by police. The canine handler said that the dog was not meant for searching for a child. When the canine was down going over the area, the dog wasn't wet from searching around the water, and the Truro police officer was not wet. Truro Police Chief McNeil stated ground search and rescue was notified within an hour, but the search and rescue team did not arrive on the scene until 3:45 p.m., 2 hours and 49 minutes after Dylan Ehler's disappearance. These hours were extremely crucial given Dylan's age, the area's known offenders, and the nearby river. After W5 aired their episode, Where is Dylan?, we learned that the 911 call was made at 1:24 when Truro Police had previously told us the call was made at 1:15 p.m. Truro Police Chief McNeil was caught in numerous lies, including times and locations of the alerts that were sent out. Time-sensitive protocol and procedures were not followed by the Truro Police. Not only was there a delay in alerting provincial and emergency services, professional and emergency services, police also did not canvass the area and question the community properly and thoroughly. The area where Dylan went missing, the area was not blocked off to preserve any evidence, nor did they stop any traffic. People of the community, including a man with a hunting dog named Doug Manitol, were outside searching for Dylan, contaminating the area and any prudential evidence. Truro Police later charged Doug with interfering with an investigation. Local cameras were not searched in a timely manner, including a camera that faces the Salmon River was not checked at all. The Coast Guard was not contacted to aid in the search, even though the Truro police believe Dylan went into the water at that time of Dylan's disappearance. It was almost low tide, so Dylan should not have been able to be sucked out to the bay when the tide comes in. A wave should have pushed him upriver. It was stated that Leopard Brook was chest deep in some areas, but there was a shopping cart above the water levels in the deepest parts of the brook. So, like, this shopping cart was in one of the deepest spots in the brook, and the shopping cart handle was sticking out. People were crawling in it. Number 4. Ashley and I, Dylan's parents, were not notified of Dylan's disappearance. Ashley did not know until around 3:30 p.m. The police would not allow anyone to leave to go get her, as her phone was not working. I only found out when I showed up to get Dorothy Parsons' phone number at about 2:45 p.m. Then search and rescue found Dylan's rubber boot in Leopard's Brook. One was found around 7 p.m. while the other was found at around 9 p.m. Social media had posted that Dylan's boots were found before we, the parents, were notified. We were not notified of Dylan's boots being found by Truro police until the next morning, Thursday, May 7th at 8:30 a.m. Sad. Number 5. The Truro police refused to get Dylan's boots fingerprinted. A retired RCMP officer of 30 years, Gillisblin, had the boots fingerprinted for us. Once we received them back from the Truro police refused to question or give anyone else a lie detector test. The Truro police did not thoroughly investigate Dorothy Parsons because her 3 lie detector tests were inconclusive and were sent for a second opinion. Her husband, Jeff Parsons, who was there at that time, was also not questioned properly. A stopper, okay, so this is number 6 now, that was number 5, we're on 6. A stopper was put up at the reservoir so that search and rescue could eventually use a mannequin in Leopard Brook. This should have been done right away if in fact Dylan went into Leopard Brook, because the water level would have dropped significantly and improved search efforts. Not only did this test fail, it was used in the place of a cadaver. Certified search and rescue dog from Halifax, Kevin McNeil, is a man in Halifax with a certified search and rescue dog that came to Corporal Monty Emery, anyway, they brought it to his attention in the first days of Dylan's disappearance, and it was ignored. It was stated that the mannequin test was used instead of the search dog. So basically, Kevin sent his paperwork to Corporal Emery, our lead investigator, and he said he lost it under paperwork. And then at a meeting, he said that they used the mannequin instead of a search and rescue dog, which makes no sense. Use both, right? So this is number 7 of my letter of reasons why it needs to go into review. Non-profit organizations that offered assistance and were refused by Truro police. I'm going to skip out the names of the people, but it was Nova Scotia Boat Side Sonar Professional Diver Drone Operator was refused. Wings of Mercy with Lock 8 Search and Rescue Military Equipment. for drones were refused, and Kevin McNeil, Halifax Canine ground search and rescue, dog, jet, black lab, and more were refused from the Truro police at the very beginning. Now, with retired RCMP officer, he stated that they might have been too proud and figured they would find Dylan, and waited till it was too late and was like, oh shit. It was a child's life. It wasn't who has the biggest. You guys know what I mean. It wasn't fair for Dylan, plain and simple. So number 8, Bible Hill RCMP officer Rodney McDonald has spoke to me many times. He has stated that he arrived on the scene, 2 Truro police officers standing beside the water. He stated that there is a halfway house just down the road that should be checked. And he also mentioned that there should have been a net put into Salmon River. Gillis Blinn, a retired RCMP officer who also worked with the organization Please Bring Me Home, stated that the day Dylan went missing, the weather was perfect for the use of a canine police dog if one had have been on the scene sooner. Gillis Blinn questioned why an RCMP officer canine was not requested when the Truro Police canine was on another call. So why wasn't another canine called for the assistance of a 3-year-old, especially RCMP? They're right there. Dylan's from Bible Hill, so he's in the RCMP jurisdiction. That's where Dylan lives. So why that wasn't requested quicker and it wasn't treated more seriously, we'll find out after the review. Number 9, there has been numerous occasions where sightings and tips about Dylan Ehler have been ignored and brushed off. It took 7 days on a occurrence for one lead investigator, Monty Emery, to look at a surveillance footage of a possible sighting because he went on vacation and the Truro police had a cocaine seizure. That's not made up. I have a recording to back it up. As stated, Derek King, via phone call, Derek King told me that. On another occasion, it was on a possible sighting of Dylan in Cape Breton. We have received several ransom demands regarding Dylan, but the Truro police and Emery did not take any of them seriously, stating a lot of this is bullshit. Tom Fitzgerald, head of Colchester Ground Search and Rescue, saw a suspicious person in the beginning hours of the search and reported to the Truro police. When I followed up on the report, Monty Emery said it was probably just a good Samaritan. The person was never looked into, like many others. Just a good Samaritan. If we all thought like that, like, wouldn't this world be different? So, we're on number 10 of the police complaint. Well, it's the reasoning why they should be reviewed, the Truro police. On many occurrences, our questions and our concerns go ignored and unanswered. Emails do not get answered, and calls are never returned. Like, never returned. We go weeks without any updates, which only goes to Ashley Brown, Dylan's mother. My mother, Lynn Ehler, tried to ask to talk to Derek King, an investigator on Dylan's case at the beginning, about Dylan. Derek King told them, "You're not even related to Dylan." So yeah, my mom was in the Truro police station and was trying to talk to Derek King, and he was very adamant that my mom wasn't Dylan's grandmother and was quite rude. It was a very rude experience for her, and she'll never forget it. Like, these things affect other people. Like, the Truro police should be punished for the things they do. My mom was an elderly lady that deserved information and not to be disrespected. So yeah, investigator on Dylan's case. Derek King told them, "You're not even related to Dylan." So we raised enough funds to get a reward for Dylan Ehler. Norman Brown, Dylan's grandfather, asked Monty Emery, our lead investigator, how to go about making a reward. He stated, "Google it." So they couldn't even take the time to help us make a reward. They just told us, "Google it." Like, this is the kind of things we were given to endure, lost as we were with a missing child. And you've got these cops that are just so damn disrespectful. So, number 11, I made a police complaint about the way Dylan's search and case was being handled. After making this complaint, Police Chief McNeil called me and stated, "I thought we were on the same page. You have slowed down your son's investigation. You're to get one phone call. You're not to get any more phone calls, and you're to get one email a week." And that was right after my complaint. He called like 2 days later. Shortly after police complaint, Deputy Chief Rob Hearn took over as liaison for Dylan's case. So our lead investigator was not really our lead investigator, which isn't fair. I've done my research in Nova Scotia and Canada, and you're to get one lead investigator, not another investigator, or, we have an investigator right now that we don't know any information about. So, continuing on number 11. So the deputy chief is now liaison, and we were no longer able to talk to our lead investigator, Monty Emery. Deputy Chief Rob Hearn has stated, "We look at tips because we have to. We believe your son drowned." He has also stated, "We need to stop this back and forth. Your son drowned. You need to accept it." I had also hired a private investigator, Dave Worrell, another retired RCMP officer for over 30 years, that had made an appointment to talk to the Truro police, but Deputy Chief Rob Hearn canceled after the complaint I made. I have been completely cut off from Truro police and from getting updates because of my frustration with Dylan and the way the case has been handled. I am also no longer allowed to speak to Tom French Patrick, head of Colchester Search and Rescue. The Truro police have been using my frustration and anger against me, and they continue to try and push me against me, and continue to try and punish me for speaking out and fighting for my rights and my son's rights, which I have the right to. The mental toll that this has taken on me and my family is undescribable. So for the Truro police and the way we've been treated, it's undescribable. It's taken a major effect in our beliefs and everything. I put everything in the Truro police, and they wouldn't let me search the river. They wouldn't let me do that. They completely stopped me from doing everything. I put everything into them. And look what I'm reading. Number 12, my police complaint was reviewed by Amherst Police Chief Dwayne Pike. The Amherst Police Detachment is one of the sister detachments to the Truro Police. The review was based, and evidence given was not acceptable or considerate. Chief Dwayne Pike was unwilling to accept all evidence provided to him, including recordings. My complaint was not taken seriously or looked at enough. I would request a review of the Truro Police by an unknown, unbased professional organization. So, I would have gotten someone that's not sister to Truro Police, like someone else completely different. That wasn't fair to us whatsoever, and I appealed that, and here we are today, and I think they're nervous that they're in shit. Number 13, this one's pretty interesting and frustrating. After I found an organization called Nova Scotia Canine Search and Rescue run by Doug Teeft, a professional dog trainer and the owner-operator of the non-profit organization, it was difficult to get the Truro Police to cooperate and coordinate with the team and Colchester Grand Search and Rescue. Doug expressed frustration with this because he knew that time was at an essence. Doug Teeft's and his team came to a search. I joined them on the search, and a hit was made by the search dog in Salmon River. This spot was not investigated by professionals until the next day after the tide cycled in and out again, moving anything that was there with it. The Truro Police have denied other searches with them because of money and resources, as stated to Tom Fitzpatrick via phone call. In fact, Colchester Search and Rescue had lost their funding just days before Dylan went missing. Number 14. My family and I have been denied Dylan's files. We have appealed for faux pas on multiple occasions and refused due to Dylan's case being an open investigation, and information may be used to harm the police. We have also been denied the search and rescue file for Dylan because it has been sent to the Truro Police, their file, go figure. I have begun the appeal process for Dylan's file because we're entitled to our son's information. We're entitled to know what you guys did and the rest of what you guys did, and I'm kind of scared to know. So, number 15. We have had changes in investigator 4 times. Our lead investigator has changed 4 times since May 6, 2020. Our lead investigator was Corporal Emery, Corporal Monty Emery, with Derek King. Then Deputy Chief Rob Hearn took over as liaison, and we could no longer communicate with Monty Emery, and Derek King was no longer working for Dylan's case. The police would claim that Corporal Emery went on sick leave. So they told our PI in a meeting that they went on that Corporal Emery went on sick leave, and in fact he didn't, because he was talking to us through the whole summer, but couldn't say anything because we had to go through Rob Hearn. So a lot of confusion there, guys. Really like to know what's going on. Due to Dylan's case, so I think I'm on number 15. Due to Dylan's case and Jay Sneeler's behavior, we have recently learned of a new lead investigator on Dylan Ehler's case named Sergeant Bruce Lake. We were not informed of this change until I called dispatch on January 7th, 2022 to speak with Deputy Chief Rob Hearn. Dispatch told me of the new investigator. We have made attempts to contact Bruce Lake regarding his new role with no response. Ashley has spoken to him unknowingly on a phone call, and Sergeant Bruce Lake made no mention of being the new lead investigator. We have not been able to get any updates since fall 2021. Still today, not right, not fair, but I'm not supposed to be angry. Number 16, there has been a very slow process to the system in regards to my son's case and investigation, and I believe that in part has to do with the fact that there has stated of limitations of 2 years to file a lawsuit against an organization such as theirs. So I think we haven't been given information because they've been trying to buy their 2-year time, so I can't pursue a lawsuit against the Truro police, which, well, we'll see what happens. A lawsuit against the organization such as theirs. I would ask to have a rush put on this case because my son deserves the best of our community and resources. There should also be no statute of limitation of any kind on an open investigation. 17. There have been other cases that have proven the Truro police to be unprofessional, unorganized, and negligent. One case being murder of Truro resident Ben Hare in 2010. It's hard stuff. I know that family very well. And the murder of 4-year-old Truro resident Samantha Mercer in 2004. That was a really bad one too. All of the information in this letter is or will be accompanied by this letter. If and when request, Dylan Ehler's case needs to go before the review board, as there has been many mistakes made and Dylan Ehler has been pushed to the side with the assumption that he drowned. This tunnel vision that the Truro police have regarding my case is unfair to this 3-year-old boy, and Dylan Ehler deserves full proper investigation to bring him home. Tongue twisters there. So I hope everyone can catch all that. There's been a lot of mistakes. There's mistakes there that I probably didn't even add to this because I can't think of them, but I have the evidence to back all this up. Something's not right. So with this video, I would really like to, change the way things are done in Nova Scotia. Not only for my son, but I want to make it better for the next child, for your next child to go missing. I want to make a difference. I want to be that person. So, my anger, my frustration, my fighting, it's going to lead up to something better alert system, better way of handling a missing child, missing persons, just all the way around better. Thank you everyone for taking the time to listen to me. I know that was a bit long and I did my best. I'm not the greatest reader, but hey,